the Vice President of Communications and Stakeholder Relations at Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, and my team is responsible for overseeing the delivery of a community benefits plan on this project. Just a little bit of background on Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, or WDBA. We were created in 2012 and our staffing began in 2014. We are a not-for-profit Canadian Crown Corporation, and our mandate is to deliver the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, Michigan through a public-private partnership, or P3. We have identified our private sector partner, which is Bridging North America, and they were selected following an extensive procurement process. And we had reached financial close in September of 2018. It was at that point that our constructor began their construction process. This map here shows the location of our project. We have 4 components to our overall project: the Canadian Port of Entry, the bridge over the Detroit River, the US Port of Entry, and the Michigan interchange. Here's some renderings of our 4 components. Each of the 4 components on their own are complex and very large projects in and of themselves. And together, this is one of the most complex infrastructure projects being undertaken in North America. The main span of the bridge is a cable stay, and it will be the longest cable stay bridge in North America. It's going to include 6 lanes, and it also includes a multi-use path for pedestrians and cyclists. That multi-use path will be toll-free. Construction of the project, as I noted, began in just following financial close, so in October of 2018. And we have a 74-month construction schedule. So that means that we expect to see the bridge open to traffic by the end of 2024. As I noted, the Gordie Howe International Bridge project is being delivered as a P3. So our private sector partner will design, build, finance, operate, and maintain the project. And it will deliver very much needed transportation improvements to the area. In addition to those transportation improvements, it's always been a priority of this project to reflect and benefit the communities that it serves. So the communities both on the Canadian side and on the Detroit side. So in addition to transportation, there are community benefits integrated into the project itself. Speaking to our P3 procurement process, it ran from 2015 to 2018 and included a request for qualification stage and a request for proposals stage. What was important to this is throughout the procurement process, we maintained a level of importance and significance on both the community benefits and the environmental aspects of the project, and asked our proponent teams to put as much focus in those aspects of their proposals as they would the design of the bridge itself, or the construction processes being put into being put in behind the bridge and being planned. In our procurement process, we identified a few mechanisms that would help us in the delivery of community benefits. So you would almost say that we co-developed the framework behind community benefits with both the communities and with the proponent teams during our procurement process. We did that through 2 key ways. Number 1, during the procurement process, WDBA undertook extensive consultation with the community members on both sides of the border. And all of the feedback and input that we heard from our community members, we shared with our 3 proponent teams who were working on their response to the request for proposals. This was important to try to provide some clarity for those proponent teams, defining for them what the community expectations were and what WDBA's expectations were. As well, throughout the procurement process, we held commercially confidential meetings with our proponent teams on a number of topics, including on community benefits. And what this allowed us to do is hear directly from the constructors what some of their concerns and issues were on community benefits. And it allowed us to make adjustments to our project agreement requirements and our procurement requirements to address some of those needs and to make sure that all 3 proponents were on a level playing field. So Rosemary, similar to what you were stating about the importance of the policy in Toronto, the contractors told us about some of their concerns and wanted to be on a level playing field and really wanted to understand what our expectations were. And by doing consultation throughout the procurement process and feeding that input back to our proponent teams, and by hearing those concerns from the proponents and making adjustments where we could, we were able to really develop a community benefits requirements that fit the needs of both our community members and our future constructors. In terms of consultation, just going a bit more deeply into that, consultation on the community benefits plan for the Gordie Howe International Bridge occurred between 2015 and 2019, and we took a two-phase approach. The first phase that ran between 2015 and 2018 was led by WDBA. We undertook consultation through a number of tactics, including public meetings, focus group meetings, one-on-one engagements with stakeholders, both to people who reached out to us and who reached out to ourselves, and an online call for submissions. Through this process, we received about 230 unique ideas and suggestions for community benefits, and those fell into 5 general priority areas. These were those ideas and suggestions that we then shared with our procurement, with the 3 companies going through the procurement process. During that phase, one thing that we heard quite a bit from our community members was feedback about how they wanted to then have an opportunity to engage with this successful private sector partner after financial close. They wanted an opportunity to convey further ideas and more refined ideas after financial close. And in response to that, we did identify and work into our procurement documents a 6-month consultation period after financial close. So we considered this our phase 2, which ran from September of 2018 until March of 2019. And this phase of procurement was led by our private sector partner, Bridging North America, with support and oversight by WDBA. Through this time period, our consultation looked like public and stakeholder meetings again, an online and paper survey that was distributed where people could provide feedback on a very detailed short list initiatives and to prioritize those investments. And in total during that phase, that 6-month phase, we had over 70 meetings with stakeholders on both sides of the border, met with 1,000+ stakeholders, and over 400 surveys were completed. This led to an evaluation and review of all of that feedback, and ultimately led to the announcement of our community benefits plan in June of 2019. Our vision for community benefits is a pretty simple one. For this project on the Gordie Howe International Bridge, we've defined community benefits as a series of initiatives very much based and rooted on public feedback that create measurable and positive results-based opportunities for our host communities. Our host communities, again, this is an international project, are Windsor and Sandwich on the Canadian side, and Delray and Southwest Detroit, the Detroit area on the US side. Our community benefits plan, or our goals with our community benefits plan, is to provide economic opportunities to those specific host communities, to contribute positively to workforce development programs, deliver neighborhood improvements, and to ensure that we have clear commitments and accountability for all parties. So all parties are to be accountable to our commitments and to deliver the project, the program with transparency. Just a few highlights about our community benefits plan. In general, it's divided into 2 sections: the workforce development and participation strategy and the neighborhood infrastructure strategy. And you see on this slide a few examples of some of the initiatives that we're delivering through those 2 strategies. Obviously, the workforce development and participation strategy is all about providing opportunities for the host communities to participate in the economic opportunities that come from this project. We did define the word local for the purposes of our project. Local includes Detroit, and then Windsor, Essex, and within 100 kilometers of Windsor and Essex. For the neighborhood infrastructure strategy, that's a $20 million investment, $10 million Canadian for the US side and $10 million Canadian on the Canadian side that is to be invested in community infrastructure improvements. Transparency and accountability. So one thing that we heard over and over again throughout our consultation period and through our own research was the importance of transparency and the importance of continuing to have the community engaged throughout the delivery of our community benefits plan. To help support with that long-term community engagement, we've developed and created a local community group. Our local community group is made up of 16 stakeholders representing various perspectives from the local host communities, both from the Detroit side and from the Windsor side. We meet with our local community group on a quarterly basis, and they provide us with feedback and recommendations on the implementation of our community benefits plan. Also, as part of our transparency, we've implemented quarterly public reporting. Each quarter, we put out a report that summarizes the local impacts and the outcomes from our community benefits plan and provides an update on the status of the initiatives that we committed to delivering in our community benefits plan itself. Our first quarterly report was published in March of 2020, and our next quarterly report will be coming out in early July. And again, the idea behind this is to ensure that we're delivering our community benefits plan with transparency and accountability, and that people can provide feedback and actually see the real delivery and the outcomes that are coming from the community benefits plan. This slide here shows links to the project. Our project website is GordieHoweInternationalBridge.com. We do have a page dedicated to community benefits plan, to our community benefits. The entirety of the plan is posted on the website, and I definitely encourage folks to go to the site, check out the plan, and ask us if you have any questions. We made an announcement just a week or two ago about some of our funding initiatives that were being released this year, and we are continuing to make some good progress. Again, encourage folks to follow us on social media and continue to stay engaged and aware of progress on the project.